Hey guys, welcome to lesson 10 where we are going to be learning about the switch statement. So if you recall back to lesson 9 where we learned about if-else statements, remember we had the actual if-else, if-else, if-else. So the switch statement is a cleaner version of the if-else statement. Basically, if you're going to have a lot of different options, a switch is easier to use than just using about 5 if-else's in a row. For this, we are actually going to be doing the identical project that's in your book on page 45. So if you can see that easier than the video, then that is a great resource for you to use. So I'm going to start with putting in all of my options here. So in PDF, you right click and go to select tool. I'm going to select just these system.out.print lines. So copy and come in my program and paste. Now you will notice we have a ton of errors. So these quotes, it does not like them. So I'm going to go through and fix those real quick. All right, so I just went through and I replaced all of those bad quotes with quotes that Eclipse will actually read. I don't know why that is what it is, but it is. Okay, so you notice up here we say make your arithmetic selection from the choices below. Option 1 is addition, option 2 is subtraction, option 3 is multiplication, option 4 is division. There are some escape sequences in here, so remember those will make a new line. And then down here we're saying your choice. So what you can read from this is we are going to be interacting with our user. So remember above that line, let's put in a scanner. You can name your scanner whatever you want to name it. Equals new scanner system.in. And we have an error here because we haven't imported anything that lets us use the scanner. So we're going to import java.util.star and import java.io.star. And now our scanner can work. Hooray! Okay, so we have our scanner, we have the question we're asking, and then we're going to let them make a choice. So we come down and we say, let's see, so our choices are 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it's going to be an int. So we're going to call it int choice equals kbreader.next int. Open close parentheses, semicolon. One of the habits that I want you guys to get in the habit of, I guess, is to run your program multiple times before you finish it. This way, if you have an error towards the end, you'll know where the error is, and then you won't have to constantly be going back. So I'm going to make my console a little bit larger, and I'm going to run my program. Okay, so make your arithmetic selections from the choices below, your choice. So I'm going to fix my formatting a little bit. I don't know, I guess it's okay, but I'm going to put a couple more spaces in front of all my numbers. And then your choice, I'm going to leave that and I'm going to see how it looks now. So go ahead and run it again. Okay, I think that looks a little better. So I want you guys to get in the habit of kind of looking at your program, running it before it's actually done, so that way you know what it looks like for your user. In the real world with programming, you have to find that balance of effective code, but also ease of use, because you can have a most effective code, it does everything that your user wants to do, but if they don't have a positive experience with it, they're not going to use it. So that's one of the things you have to worry about with programming, is what kind of experience is the person who's actually using your program getting from you. Now you'll notice down here that this program's still running. So go ahead and click stop, because we're not going to run, all we need to do is enter a number and it would end, but we'll just click stop instead. Okay, so now what else do you do with a calculator? You punch in numbers. So now that we know what our user wants to do with those numbers, now we need to ask them what numbers they want to type in. When you go in your calculator, it doesn't just read you a list of multiplication tables. It lets you decide what numbers to calculate. So we're going to give our user the exact same experience. So system.out.println. And if you notice right here, our last thing that we printed out was your choice, but it just says print because we want to type in that same line. So let's use an escape sequence so that it starts on the next line. And we're going to say enter your first number. And then we're going to import it. So numbers can be doubles. So we're going to call this a double. I'm going to call it ones and our first number equals kbreader.next double. Close parentheses, semicolon. And then well, I was going to say lazy, but I guess economical is a better term for that. So then we're going to say enter second number, and we'll call this one N2. So now we given our user some options. We ask them what they want to do with them, and then we tell them to enter numbers so that we can start doing other stuff. Okay, before we put in any more code, I do want to point out the spacing I've been using here. This makes it a lot easier to read your own code. So the spaces doesn't really help the user, it helps you. So I want you to get in the habit of also kind of chunking up things that go together. So like this first part right here, we're presenting a menu of calculator options. Those are the 4 things we're going to do with our calculator. Okay, this next chunk, we retrieve user's choice menu options. And in this last part, we retrieve user's choice for numbers to manipulate the calculator. This way, if someone else is reading your code, or maybe you haven't looked at your code in a month or two, you'll know exactly where to go in your code to fix something. So far, this is not really anything new to you guys. We're printing, we're asking for user input, and we haven't even started the switch set. So go ahead and save this, however far you are, and you're ready to go on to the next video where we start to tackle the switch statement.